Hey, I'm headed to a funeral this morning. I'm going to a funeral of one of my really good friend's brothers. He's been battling with addiction for a lot of years. I know addiction is so big in our world today because it's just a world of pain and a world of fear. And this guy, his name was Dave, he just loved with all of his heart. He couldn't get rid of the guilt. I thought I would just talk a little bit about Dave. The thing I remember about Dave is he was always joking around, and he was always really fun. And as he became a father, he just loved his kids. He loved his kids so much, and he just loved with his whole heart, and he just looked at them as the best thing in his life. I just wanted him to do good so bad. I wanted him to be successful, and I also loved how open he was just about everything in his life. He was very open about what he was going through, and I think I know the world could use more of that because it helps us not feel so alone. I also had a really good talk with one of my friends who went to the funeral with me, and I was trying to put together like some of the things that I've discovered, and I think believing that we have a greater purpose than just living our life and trying to get through each day. Every addiction has a lot of similarities between, drugs, or if you use food, or even social media, or whatever it is. We are using those things to forget our guilt and all the things that we feel and think about ourselves. And I think that's why self-love is such an important piece, and also feeling like you have a greater purpose. There's just so many pressures in this world to live up to this perfect standard, and I just really wish a lot more people would be willing to be more real and more vulnerable about their experiences in their life, because like I said about Dave, I'm sure there's people that didn't feel alone when he would share his real struggle instead of trying to hide it. And I know that's scary. My friend and I were talking, and she was saying how she didn't want anyone to know how she weighed, and I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm past that. I'm like, I'm not trying to hide what my reality is anymore. And it was just crazy to think that I knew exactly what she was talking about, and that I'm past that. I'm like, I accepted how much I weigh. I accepted it. Everybody knows it. And it's almost like when you're trying to hide it from everybody, you don't accept it and you don't take responsibility for it. It's so crazy. Anyway, I was so grateful for this conversation that I had, because I had so much realization about how far I've come. So when our life is not in balance with the way that it needs to be, we want to compensate with other things. And some people use shopping, some people use Facebook, some people use food, some people use drugs, some people gamble or go to pornography, or whatever it is that makes them feel alive in that moment is what they go to. And it's not real, it's a compensation. And so when my friend and I were talking, and she was so focused on food and what food she's eating, that's exactly what I always used to do. But it's not about the food, because if your life is in line with your beliefs, and if you're really valuing who you are, you don't want to eat those things. It automatically makes you think differently about food, and you're not so focused on what you're eating and what you're not eating. You're just trying to love yourself, and you're trying to make the best choices that you can moment to moment. And I can't even explain it. It's just what happens. So if you can have self-love, then you don't want to check out of your life, and you're not fighting that fight anymore. It made me really grateful for where I'm at, because as she was talking, I was like, I totally know what you're saying. I've been there. And it's nice to feel peace and feel like I'm getting out of that rut of feeling guilt all the time. I'm just grateful for all that I'm learning. I'm really excited to see what the next 40 years of my life will look like.